and welcome to The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, a Let's Play by Link6616, my awakening as a Let's Player. Now, we've just finished the Catfish's Moor, which means that a few things change pretty drastically. We're going to do the trading game, all the way through this time, or not all the way through, but finishing it off, and then we're going to get the blue clothes, and finally, we're going to get to the face shrine, all in one episode. It's going to be a very eventful episode. So, first things first. Let's go through what we've done so far in the trading game. We've got the Hibiscus, and the Hibiscus we got because we gave the father of the baby a pineapple, and we got the pineapple because we gave the bear the honey, and we got the honey because we gave Taran the stick, and we got the stick because we gave the monkey bananas, and we got the bananas why? Because we gave the crocodile dog food, and we got dog food because we gave a dog a ribbon, and we got a ribbon because we gave a baby a doll, and we got a doll because we played a silly minigame. But right now, we are going to give a Hibiscus to a goat. Now, one of the things that I think the trading game really does well in the Zelda games that have them is it doesn't force you to pay attention to the world, but it definitely encourages it in a way that doesn't necessarily feel arbitrary. Because most of the needs are somewhat logical, there's extra clues usually. Sometimes trying to track down exactly who needs something, but if you actually haven't already played the game, you're probably going to do some exploring regardless. And if you're not doing any exploring, you're probably playing with a walkthrough or something. So unless you're just darn lucky, and if you're that darn lucky for so long, you deserve some discomfort in this game. Because it's pretty easy when you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, then you simply won't know. If I talked to her earlier, that would probably be a little bit more amusing, because she is so ecstatic about her sweeping at all moments whenever you talk to her. I guess I'll listen. Mr. Wright, who writes letters, will deliver the letter. So, let's go to the Telltale Heights? I can never remember the exact names of places anymore. I can probably check fairly easily though. Telltale Heights. There we are. Now, to get to the face shrine, we'll also be using a little bit of an alternate path, because we're going to take the rapids down there, which is a little bit of a mini-game. It's a bit of a rupee sink, and your reward is getting more rupees. I have a hard time believing it'd be easy to recoup the amount of rupees you actually spend on it, but stranger things have surely happened. Now actually, if I'd been clever, while I was here, basically, I would have actually gotten the blue clothes, which is something that's going to change, because we are getting the boomerang, which supplants the sword, and the sword is the only reason you actually need... The sword is the only item that is affected by the red clothes. Well, I'm not sure that's true. I think that you lift up rocks faster, which is a nice boon, but isn't super important. And we're going to be getting the power bracelet 2 in a moment as well. Well, not in a moment, but next episode. So this is Mr. Wright from SimCity. Well, at least I think it's from SimCity. I must admit, I've never played the Super Nintendo SimCity, and as such, yeah, I'm not really too familiar with him. I'll trade a photo of Princess Peach for a broom. Why not? And once again, you see it brought up that the game is fairly self-referential. I can't actually cross by that. Because of course I can't actually move around those flowers because I don't have Bow Wow with me. Now, it's time to go to the color dungeon. Which I could do after we've done the trading game, but might as well do it now. Personally, I think the blue clothes look a little bit more stylish than the red clothes. But I don't think Link's fashion sense is terribly important. Some do, I'm sure. And in fact, I do deliberately get my shield eaten in Ocarina of Time by Like in the Fire Temple because I think that a red Link without a shield looks much, much better than a shielded Link. At least until you get the mirror shield, in which case the shield actually matches his clothes, and it's all fine. Right, so, a quick flick through memory lane. Well, we might as well work towards capping our rupee count. I mean, doesn't it just feel so wealthy? We're at the cap, and there's nothing we can really spend our money on. Broom. Button. Now, which way is the right one? That looks good. And we can even be budget and hookshot it. No need to waste any important arrows. We'll be spending some of those later in this episode as well, though. Blue. Yes. I do like how Link's cheeks are the same color, or I'm not sure what it is actually. They look like his cheeks anyway. Right, so we're back to not actually firing huge amounts of stuff at people. Sorry, making people go flying. But now, we have the broom, which we can give to Uriah's wife? I can't remember what her name is. If I'd actually been talking to people, I'd probably know a little bit more. And it is also worth pointing out that while some of this whole game seems a little bit obtuse, it is... Wow, that's a lot slower. Sorry. While this game can seem a little bit obtuse as to knowing where to go next, it is worth noting that the phone conversations with Uriah, or whoever the guy who speaks to you on the phone booths is, do actually help considerably. They give you just the right nudges, I think. Sometimes less so than others. It's so weird slashing things twice. Why did I go to the blue clothes? I think that in just those few seconds we've kind of seen just sort of how easy the red clothes may have made the game for us. But don't worry, we're going to be getting back that level of power again. I like that little moment, where she holds it up above her head, special sprite just for holding something above her head as well, which, at this technical level, is probably not that special. You know, she has 3 whole sprites maybe, sorry, 5. Anyway, so she has a broom, and now we have a fishing hook. Anyway, what I was going to say, I like that she gets that little music too, because it's just that nice little toying with convention. This music always represents you getting an item. And it is played with maybe too much in some of the later Zeldas. I can't really remember how often they play that trick later, but they do play it. Now, if I recall correctly, even though I should have actually been reading the text instead of just speaking over it, I'm pretty confident when it asked about when you got the fishhook, it said, "I wonder what it will become." Because it is nice how the game kind of recognises how absurd it is. Okay then, we can't do our photo opportunity yet. So now we have the necklace, and the necklace belongs to a mermaid. Now, again, if we'd actually been exploring and talking with people, we probably would have run into her a little bit earlier. But the mermaid has lost her necklace. And she offered, when you would have spoken to her earlier in the game, to give us a scale if we could find her necklace. And that is the mermaid scale. So, I'm not sure if we had a glimpse of the mermaid statue before, but the mermaid statue is where we're going. And once we get the mermaid statue, we get the magnifying glass, which is probably the franchise's first use of the lens of truth. Except, it sounds far less mysterious, but it ultimately serves an identical role to the lens of truth. That's not where we want to go. We want to go down here. So the hookshot can't kill everything. It actually stuns a lot of things. But, you know, shouldn't really surprise you. Now, just remember this room's empty. So, it's actually not empty, but this is what's really clever about that. You wouldn't have been hurt anyway, but going down, if you didn't pick it for some reason, you definitely will get hurt. It's a very clever little touch, I think. But now we have the magnifying glass. That means that we can see everything in the game. Which ultimately isn't actually that useful. But it will give us the very, very, very important Boomerang, which will replace our sword for the rest of the game pretty much. There are a few instances where we need our sword, but basically from now on, it's boomeranging, which is why we run with the blue clothes. Because we're not using the sword all the time, there's not really any point. Because while the red clothes do increase our power, it only increases it in terms of the speed we lift things and the damage our sword does. It doesn't increase the power of any other weapon, I don't believe. Although, if you do know of any other weapons affected, please put some in the comments. Anyway, and you will notice that I've been using the Mambo Mambo quite frequently. It is very useful because Crazy Tracy is pretty ideally situated between the top levels of the game, between the Telltale Heights and the village, which also gives us easy access to teleporters so that we can actually get to other places in future. Although we've already met all of them. We're also going to say goodbye to the shovel, sadly. So if we'd entered this cave previously, we would have seen nothing. I think you might see the bed, but you don't see the table or the man. Now, I don't think they're so insignificant that you don't actually need them. Anyway, let's demonstrate here. 1, 2, and 2. Now let's try. Fine. They won't appear for us. Let's hope that some appear somewhere else. Now, the boomerang requires a little bit of adjustment into how you actually time your strikes and things, because you no longer stop when you use it. So as you can see, you can kill some things in one hit with the boomerang that would require multiple with the sword. That's cool. Anyway, let's Crazy Tracy this up, and the boomerang can permanently replace the sword. As you progress through the game, I think the main flaw in Link's Awakening becomes more apparent, which is the lack of more buttons. It is just too clear that this game really needed extra buttons for your items so that you could actually have, you know, the 3 in Ocarina of Time. And your sword. Obviously, the GB did not have that power. So it's a little bit sad. Now where am I going? Yes, the heights, which I probably could have walked to just as easily. Anyway, we are going to need ourselves a hookshot. Now this is the alternate way of getting to the Face Shrine. You should actually go round the other way, because you'll meet a friendly owl who will tell you, you know, where to go in this region right now. But that doesn't really matter so much. So yes, the easiest way is to go north from the animal village, I believe. So let's see how much money we can make. And if we make a profit, I'll be just surprised it's you. Mainly because we can't actually make a profit. At best we can break even. But no! Give me rupee! Ah! No! So, I don't think I'm making any profit anymore. No! Yes! Nope. Ah, minigames. Ah! That rupee shall be mine! And so it was. Although, I probably should have gone down there. But oh well. So yeah, strictly speaking, not the wisest economic move. But, here we are. Face Shrine. Well, Face Region. And I'm sure there's a your face joke or something around here. And that is a fairy area? Not a fairy area. When I say fairy area, I mean a fairy fountain, which we haven't used all that frequently because we've usually been pretty healthy or in a dungeon. But basically, they restore all your hearts and so on. Very useful things. So, we're working getting the face key. Now, these guards are actually fairly powerful. They hurt quite a bit if they actually touch you. Of course, I don't think they hurt very much now. Now I wonder if this stacks. I know I've pondered the stackability of these things before. And with both attack and defense it's really hard, because a lot of things deal half a heart of damage, and there's no quarter heart system in this game to even know if that would work. Because at best, you know, if it's stacked, would need to be hit by something that takes 1 heart of damage, normally, and see if it goes down to half a heart. Or something that takes 2 hearts of damage, but I'm not sure how many 2 heart attacks there are in the game. Well, there's a hint. Now while the Boomerang is super duper powerful, it doesn't actually deal with everything, which is a little bit sad. But I think we can cope. Now in my pre-play, I actually realized that this simulator seems to be having difficulty doing bomb arrows properly. They can be done, but it's not as easy as I think it should be. So I assume this is just a timing issue. Now if you remember in the Catfish's Maw, I talked about how the game starts becoming a little bit more aware of the themes it's dealing with dreams and so on. This face shrine is probably, or this shrine, is probably the most focused on that theme. Well, this moment is probably the moment that most emphasizes it for a long time. So I'm just going to mute myself as we go and see the next room. And so, we start getting to the real issue of, is this a dream? And if my goal is to wake the windfish to escape the island, what will happen to everyone here? If we were to be talking to people, we would probably be finding a little bit more discussion from them about, you know, is this really a dream? What would happen if the windfish woke up? What was life like before? And things like that. And so, it starts to get a little bit interesting meta, which is, you may have already worked this out, but this game uses the "it was all a dream" plot device. But because it is so integral to the actual core story that this is all a dream, it's one of the few games that actually gets away with the "it's all a dream." Because even if it was all a dream, it's still a real experience for Link. It's not that it wasn't real. Sorry, it doesn't matter that it was real, but it does matter that the experience was real for Link. Sort of. Not that Link's a terribly deep character, so we don't really know how much this kind of thing impacts him, but it presents it as something not to be trivialized, even though it is a dream. It's probably the right way to phrase it. So this is how you can tell we were supposed to go by the animal village. Now, it is important to note that at this point I don't strictly have to do the dungeons in order. I need to get the dungeon items in order, but I can leave one of these dungeons now once I get an item, and go on and progress to the next one without any fear, really. You can do that from the fourth dungeon onwards, including the fourth dungeon. But for this playthrough, I considered doing it, but it's not really more efficient. In fact, it adds a lot of backtracking. Overall, it's a little bit messy, really. Anyway, that looks like a face shrine. So, now, I think this might actually be my favourite dungeon, but I said that about Catfishes more, so I'm not going to give you any promises that this is actually my favourite dungeon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next episode.